everyone. My name is Matt Mitchell, and I'm the owner of Mitchell Event Planning. I'm a master certified wedding planner and ambassador through the Bridal Society, which is the leading wedding planning certification program in the world and the largest membership of certified wedding planners and venues. We at the Bridal Society know how important hiring an educated wedding planner or coordinator is. The Bridal Society is focused on raising the standards in the industry and ensuring that all couples have an opportunity to have the wedding day of their dreams. Today, I'm talking with Carla Duncan, owner of On Occasions of Atlanta. So, welcome to the show, Carla. How are you
Hey,
today?
Matt. Thank you. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Well, I just want to start out learning a little bit more about you. So, can you tell me more about your company?
Yes, yes. So I started my company in 2001, July of 2001, which was July 15th is my wedding anniversary. So my husband and I just celebrated 20 years of marriage together. And
Congratulations.
thank you very much. And so my husband is a very intelligent and frugal man. And so when we were planning my wedding, he wouldn't let me do certain things. So I thought that I could do the flowers on my own, which I did, and I loved it. And so I was a teacher back then. So I taught seventh and eighth grade English and geography. And during the week I taught, and on the weekends I did weddings. I started off doing a couple of bridal shows, got a few clients that way. I did a few friends' weddings, got a few clients that way. And in a couple of years, I was doing weddings almost every weekend, every month. I was doing 70, 80 events. It was ridiculous. And my husband, in 2007, he kind of, I think, jokingly asked me, just kind of said, well, I don't see you anymore. You're either, during the week you're working, and during the weekends you're at the weddings. You need to pick. And before he got the word pick out of his mouth, I think I was on the phone resigning. I was working at the Department of Ed downtown at that point. I think I was resigning at that before he even finished his sentence. And so since 2007, this is all I do. And I absolutely love it. It's given me the opportunity, I think, to be the type of mother that I wanted to be, the type of mother that I had when I was growing up. I was here when my son got off the bus. I could have lemonade and chocolate chip cookies for him. I could go visit his classroom during the day, during the week. And it's afforded me just a wonderful life, and I'm here for my family. I do miss things on the weekends, but I really enjoy it because you are with people when they're at their happiest. They're stressed, they're anxious, but they are happy. And I enjoy being around people like that and just kind of having a small part in making that very special day even more beautiful with flowers.
Right. Well, I know just because we've worked together in the past, I definitely know a little bit more about you and how you got into it. But can you tell us a little bit more about your inspiration as to how you entered the wedding industry?
Yes, yes. So I think when I planned my wedding way back in 2020, 2001, I it was amazing to me how I went to three different florists, all very talented, but all I wanted were pink roses. I was very simple, pink roses and greenery, didn't want anything, too special. And the prices I thought were just, it was crazy. It was ridiculous. And then I did a little bit more research and I found out how much things cost. And I was kind of like, I can probably do this myself. But I really felt like, I wanted to be the type of vendor that people trusted, who knew that I'm not trying to take advantage of you. I'm not trying to pay off my car or do a balloon payment. I'm not that type. Of course, I'm in business, so I am here to make a little bit of money, but I'm going to be honest. And if I don't think a client needs something, I tell them that. I don't force them not to do something, but I don't force them to do things. I like to tell clients I want to be the vendor you see and you get excited, you're happy because okay, it's taken care of. And you feel like, I'm taking care of you because that's what I want. And that because I didn't feel that way when I interviewed the florist I just felt like I was just a dollar sign, and I don't want my clients to feel that way.
Well, I will say that you do a fantastic job of that because I can't tell you how many times I hear back from a client that was like, I just talked to Carla. Thank you so much for connecting us. She's fantastic. So I
Man,
always appreciate your partnership.
thank
So
you.
tell me, I know there's a lot of myths out there, especially for wedding planners in general. So tell me a common myth about in the floral arena that you'd like to clear up with everybody.
Right. I think I get a lot of clients who say, well, I think I can do the flowers myself. And I was guilty of that. I did that myself and I enjoyed it, but I did not feel like a bride. I was working. I was in my
Yep.
hotel suite, and instead of having a massage, I sent all my bridesmaids, my mom, my sisters, they were getting massages, and I told them, I can't go with you all. I have to do flowers. So I missed out on that. And so I think sometimes there are certain things that you can do. But when you're dealing with fresh flowers, you kind of have like a 3-day window before your wedding. What's going on 3 days before your wedding?
A
Everything.
lot.
And so I think it's a myth sometimes young ladies say, oh, I can do this, or oh, I can bake my cake, or oh, I can do this. If you can afford it and you can have someone do these things, have someone do these things. You just need to focus on being a bride. And so, again, that's why I try to be affordable to as many people as I can. I have brides, sometimes they come and they say, well, I want this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and I have this budget. And I'm like, well, I'm going to price everything out for you, and then you can pick and choose. So I usually tell people, people ask, do you have minimums and all of that? I don't, because I just want to give people the prices and then they can kind of pick and choose and see what they can afford. Because, I want my clients, I want these brides to feel like brides on their wedding day. And that myth that, well, I can do all these other things. Yeah, you can, but you're missing out on that once in a lifetime feeling of being the bride. And so that's one of the big things. There's one other one I would say too, is that I think sometimes people think doing flowers is easy, and
Hmm.
they have no idea about ordering, making sure the flowers are great quality, because for
Right.
weddings, it's especially important for you to get fresh flowers, because people aren't walking around with vases filled with water. The flowers have to be in great shape, great condition. And then it's the space, it's the time, it's transporting designs, it's setting up. Most venues nowadays require you to have a certificate of insurance, and there
Right.
are all these things that people just have no idea. And oh, it looks easy, I can just throw some hydrangea in a vase. Yeah, but hydrangeas are finicky. They're very, very thirsty flowers, and you can get a box
Very.
of hydrangea and half of them are half dead. And not knowing what to do is just is stressful. So those are the two myths: that as a bride, I can do all these things myself. You might not want to. And then that just for people who are starting out in the business, they're like, well, doing flowers is easy. I can do that. It's not as easy as you think. It really is not.
I know that for a fact, and I agree with you 100%. A lot of times, people feel like they don't need a planner, right? That I'm super organized. I've got this taken care of, and I'll say that, a lot of times you probably do, but it's that last sentence that you said that I always feel like, what I tell clients all the time is if they're, not sure which way to go is, we want you to be a guest at your own wedding. You don't
Yeah,
want to work your own wedding.
right.
It's just, it really takes away from the enjoyment. Number one, you know, even though these brides get up at, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning to start their day to get ready, and they're going until 11 p.m., it's over in a blink of an eye.
Can I?
And if you're working it, then you're not going to be able to enjoy those little moments that you get throughout the day. So
No.
it's great to have people like you on a team for sure. And I try to get you every time I can because I do love working with you.
I love working with you too. You know that.
Yes. So tell me about one of the greatest compliments you've ever received from a client regarding your work.
I will tell you one of the greatest compliments is I have a few families who I have done multiple weddings for them. And one in particular, she sends me Christmas cards, and every Christmas card, there's like a new little granddaughter but I started off doing one daughter's wedding. Then I did the second daughter's wedding. Then she referred me, her son got engaged, and she referred me to her son's fiance. I did that wedding. Now I'm doing the third daughter's wedding. Then she referred me to a friend. So word of mouth, but people who come back to you, they can choose. Atlanta is full of great, awesome wedding floral designers, and to have someone come back to me time and time and time again, that's the biggest compliment, because they don't have to do that. They can send me, they can write a review and thank me and all of that. And that's fabulous. And when people do that, I'm always like super just pleased and thankful. But repeat clients, and the fact
Yes.
that I have several of those, but this family in particular, because baby showers, bridal showers. She calls me for everything. And she's like, Carla, we consider you part of the family. And I just think that is unbelievable and just so awesome. And I've had brides tell me, Carla, I just want to hang out with you. I mean, I just love that. I love that. So those are the biggest compliments when people want to see you again, I'd say,
I agree. I agree. And that it is, there's something about your personality, your spirit, your demeanor, and not to mention your work. So it's all those things are wrapped up into one that really keep people coming back to Carla Duncan. That's for sure.
At the same ditto for you. You know that. You know that.
Well, so I wanted to kind of switch gears. So we've talked a little bit about you and your company, and kind of what we can expect in regards to some myths that are out there that people should consider. Let's talk about your relationship with the planner, because we did talk a little bit about even in this space, people feel that they can do it, and we do have people out there that are wedding planners, and there's I would say that there's different types of wedding planners, right? There's people that have been in the industry forever, that have, just a ton of experience and knowledge because they've been doing it forever. There's people that have been out there for a mid-range of time, and then there's people that are just starting out. Now, I'm probably, even though I've been in the event space for about 8 years, I've been planning weddings specifically for about 4 of those, because I'm pretty much in the mid-range. But you know what? I wanted to make sure that I was fully knowledgeable and was putting my whole self in for my clients. So I thought it was very, very important for me to go out and get my certification. So I started out with my certified wedding planner designation through the Bridal Society. And then, Carla, as you know, 2020 hit and we had no events. So I had a lot more time on my hands.
That's right. That's right.
So I went back and I got some additional education. And so I now hold my master's certified wedding planning designation. So yeah. So I wanted to talk about that with you to see, based off of your experience with the different types of planners that you work with out there, because I know a lot of times you don't really get to pick who you work with. It's whoever your client's already working with.
Exactly.
But tell me more about why you prefer working with a certified wedding planner versus just someone that's out there doing wedding planning.
Right. I think it's when the biggest difference, I think, is, and I'm going to use you as an example.
Yeah, please.
You are a certified wedding planner. You have, first of all, and I'm going to take your personality out of it, even though your personality, that's who you are. It doesn't have anything necessarily to do with your certification. It adds to everything.
Right.
But there's a level of education and sophistication and all of that, because you have been, I'm sure when you get your certification, they talk to you about different scenarios and things that go wrong, how to conduct yourself if this happens and all of that. And now nothing prepares you more so than experience, but just talking things over and talking about different scenarios and how you treat people. And this is what, people are dealing with. These things may happen. This is how you should react. This is how you should conduct yourself. To me, that's invaluable, because every wedding, because it's so many different moving parts, there's always something that doesn't go the way that it's supposed to. And it doesn't have to be something huge like the cake doesn't show up, But it could be, you know, one guest shows up who didn't RSVP, and where's that person going to sit, and how do I handle that, and all of that. If you are certified, just like any other business, or any other profession, training, like teachers get training for different curriculum and or curricula, and then they also get training on how to, you know, classroom management and all of that. It's the same thing. It prepares you for what may happen or what will happen. And so, especially with a wedding, because emotions are high, you have to be able to kind of roll with the punches. And if something happens, you can't panic, because when you panic, you are thinking about the problem. When you relax, you can think about a solution. And with weddings, that's what you need. You have to solve any little problems that arise. You have to do it with a smile on your face, and you can't let the bride know that this is happening. So being certified and having training, it gives you another level of professionalism. And you know, for me, it would be, of course, I'd want to hire someone who had that training, just like any other profession. I've worked with people who have just started out. I've worked with mothers of the brides who said, "Oh, I'm going to be the planner," and they have no idea what they're doing. And you know who ends up being the planner, basically? I
You.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not necessarily complaining about, well, I am complaining about it, but it's because I just want the day to go well.
That's
But
right.
if you don't have someone who's willing to step in, those weddings would be nightmares.
Right.
And so, again, having someone who really knows what they are doing is invaluable. Secondly, having someone who cares enough about their profession to get training and get certification shows you what kind of person that planner is.
Mm-hmm.
So with anything, if I'm into computers and everything like that, we know how things change and grow. You have to constantly train with technology so that you know the cutting edge and all these other things that are coming out. And so if you get someone who's comfortable and feels like they know it all, is that the best person to maybe work with? In my opinion, not. Someone who cares enough not to just say, okay, I'm a planner, but will get certification that shows you what type of person that planner is. And so for those two reasons, that is why I would want to work with someone who's certified. They
Yeah,
care.
and you really, I don't even think you know too much about the wedding certification, but you're exactly correct, and that's why I have sought it out, because just like you mentioned, the world is constantly changing, and just with many different types of professions out there. People go through continuing education on a yearly basis. That just ensures that they know exactly what's happening in their specific industry. What are the new and upcoming things? I mean, we go through trend reports, like what are people doing?
Right.
What are I mean, what's the top decor this year? What's the top colors this year? And then, it was something that we really dug into during the pandemic, like what are some safety precautions that we're taking? What are the new things that we're doing as an industry to make sure that we're taking care of our clients, their families, and guests? So, I was looking at ways that we could still have events even in a pandemic. And then when we're starting to get back into larger events, how can we make sure that everyone's protected? So, it's those things that is what absolutely brought me to want to do this, and it just continues to, but it also engages me, right? So I'm learning something new all the time. It's not just the boring, mundane stuff over and over and over again. I consider myself a constant student, so I'm learning things new every month. We hold monthly webinars on educational things.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's great. So let's see. Is there a situation? I'm sure you get. I know you've been in the wedding industry for a while. So
Yeah, a long time.
is there a situation that took place at a wedding that, that a certified wedding planner might be able to even avoid, or that would be able to fix or solve it before it made it into a disaster that you experienced wasn't the case because you didn't have one there?
Right, right. Yes. I'll give you two examples.
Okay.
One happened early on in my career, and this was okay. I'm going to give you two different scenarios. So this happened early in my career, and so there was a planner, and this planner was very professional, knew what she was doing. The cake baker was in an accident,
Oh, gosh.
and the cake was destroyed. Couldn't, so this planner, because she was professional, I think she was probably certified or something. She had been in the business for a long time, and she was able, through her contacts, to call a cake baker and for ask if she could use one of his display cakes. And then she called Publix or something and got like sheet cakes, and she had an assistant to help her do all of this. And so when the bride came, she had a cake. Not
That's right.
only a beautiful cake, but she also had cake to serve her guests and all of that. And I'm sure she found out or maybe noticed that the cake wasn't exactly what she wanted, but it wasn't like it was an empty table there. And this was seamless. When we found out, all we were like, oh my gosh, what are they, but this planner, she was able to do that because of her training and her experience and all of that. Fast forward to another wedding where the mother was the planner, and this was up at Lake Lanier. So we
Mm-hmm.
were outside at a pavilion in July. A family friend made the cake,
Mm.
delivered it. The cake was soft.
Oh, no.
It was
In the heat.
outside in the heat, no dowels, no
Oh, no.
support. And it had all these little pearlized, like little beads all over it. And so I'm walking by, and we're hearing, and I'm like, what is that? It was the cake sliding and the little pearl things falling off and hitting the cake plateau. And I'm walking by the cake, and literally it slides, and I grab it. And it was like a
Mm.
5-tier cake, just
Oh, my gosh.
sliding and caving in, and I'm holding it. So we go to my assistant runs to the caterer and says, we go get the mother, and she's like, what do we do? What do we do? So we ended up taking the top 2 tiers off, and we were able to put some supports into the cake, and then I just covered it with flowers. But the mother was mortified, and then she had to go take pictures and this, that, and the other. Again, experience, being trained over not being. She had no idea how to handle that situation. And quite honestly, my team and I, we handled it because the caterer was like, I
That's
don't want
right.
to touch the cake. I don't want to be held responsible. And so I got permission from the mother to take the 2 tiers off and all of that. But those are just two, like, cake disasters
Yeah.
that we have and how they're handled differently. Now, what would have happened if I would have said, well, I can't do anything for liability? The caterer said she would have had cake on the floor and it would have been a mess. And
Yep.
that happens. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
I've had instances where guests became unruly, or parents of a bride, there were step parents, and things didn't go well. People have a little alcohol,
All
say
right.
things the wrong way, and people end up almost fighting each other at the wedding. You have to know how to deal with that.
That's
I've
right.
seen planners who are afraid and they back away. You cannot as a planner, you can't let a fight break out at that wedding. So
Right.
you have to be able to step in or know and look so that you can go get someone from the venue to help you, a security guard or something, instead of being meek and mild and sorry about that. Sorry about that. And just letting things happen. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
proactive. And in order to be proactive and that takes training and experience. It just
Yeah.
does.
That was actually a great example of what I think a certified wedding planner would do, because that's the greatest thing about us is like we come with this breadth of like people that we know, right? So like you and I, we have this great relationship. So
Exactly.
I know even if I didn't hire, if you didn't even happen to have you, I know that I could like call on you in a pinch and you could deliver something if I needed it. And
Right.
same way, like if you needed something in a pinch, you know that you can
Right.
absolutely reach out to me. So
Exactly.
it's those connections and those that sense of community that we can build together that can help us when we're solving these issues. You're exactly right. So I mean, because I mean, could you imagine walking into your wedding reception and here's the
Okay.
whole thing, and here's the DJ announcing that you're going to go cut cake, and there's no cake to be
There's
cut
no
because
cake.
so oh man, yeah, that would not be good. But I'm glad that you were working with someone that knew what they were doing.
Yes.
So I, let me just put it out there then, Carla. Do you wish that all your couples would work with a certified wedding planner?
Yes, I do. Yes. Yes, I do. And yes, I do. Because the planner, and sometimes I'll get clients and they say they like me for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, would you plan our wedding? Would you be the coordinator and all that? And I'm like, you know what? I like it because I focus on flowers.
That's
That's what
right.
I'm responsible for. When you're a planner, you have dress, bridesmaids, groomsmen, parents, transportation, hair and makeup, flowers, catering, cake, the
Yep.
venue, the DJ, all the decor pieces, rentals, the getaway car, the ceremony. I mean, it's so many moving pieces.
Yep.
And people do not realize that. They think that being a wedding planner is getting her opening the doors up, her walking down the aisle, you standing there with your clipboard, nodding your head while they say their vows, and then they have the recessional, and then the party starts.
Right.
That's what people think.
Yeah.
No, it's everything before that. It's everything leading up to that. It's everything after that.
Mm-hmm.
People do not realize that. I mean, I've seen, family members again or planners who were actually dancing on the dance floor while something was happening
Mm.
that they needed to be, that a planner would have taken care of.
That's right.
So it's just interesting. But yes, I sure do wish people would use certified planners for everything. It would make my life easier because there are times when people are like, well, oh gosh, I didn't she's got these big frames, and she needs a floor easel or whatever. Well, I just happen to keep easels in my van, so I can run outside and get those and everything. But you would have thought about that. When a client
Yep.
says, I have this 40-pound mirror that's going to be a welcome sign, you would say, well, you need an easel for that. Let's check with your designer or the venue to see who has that. Or place cards. I've had people
Mm-hmm.
at outdoor weddings with little escort cards is that the smartest thing? Because it could be windy.
Could be blown away.
The cards blowing all over the place. You would have thought of that before, and you would have told that client, maybe let's not do escort cards outside. Maybe you need to do
Mm-hmm.
a seating chart, or we need to have the cocktail hour inside so that those escort cards can be indoors. These are things that people just don't think about, and it just causes so much anxiety and unnecessary stress on the day of because their planner is not, a professional, and that's just a
Right.
shame. So yes, I do wish everyone.
But you are
Sorry.
so right. God,
Have you ever
you
seen
are
that
so right.
where the woman is blocking her son with the coffee mug? That's what I just tried to do with my. I apologize.
Oh, he's heading off to college soon, right?
Well, yes, my son is. That was my husband coming down.
Oh,
Yes.
gotcha.
Sorry.
No, no worries. No worries at all. Well, you're exactly right. I mean, even the small things like people forget. I was just going through it with clients today. It was like, do we have linens for, you wanted a welcome table. Did we order linens for that? And so it's just thinking through those small things that people just, I guess, take for granted,
Exactly.
or just don't think through because you know what? They don't do this on a daily basis, right? So
Right.
it's hard for them to even know how to do it or when to do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Carla, thank you so much for your time today. It's been really terrific speaking with you, and thanks for taking the time to join me. If you're listening today and you're interested in earning your certification in wedding planning, the Bridal Society is the very best decision you could ever make. The members who are part of the organization feel more like family than colleagues. The Bridal Society provides lifetime free membership once you complete your certification, which includes countless benefits. One of our favorite benefits is the complimentary monthly workshops. You can visit thebridalsociety.com for more information. Again, my name is Matt Mitchell, owner of Mitchell Event Planning. Join me next week as we learn more from another one of our Wedding Pro friends. Carla, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much.